Hey folks, this is Ardwulf. Welcome. We are going to sit down and play our very first patrol of the Hunters, German U-boats at war, 1939 to 1943. The first thing we do when we start, when we decide to play, is we pick a starting year and a U-boat that is available in that year. I've chosen to start in September 1939, pretty much as soon as the war starts, just because it seems like a good opening move for the first game. So I have chosen the Type 9A U-boat, which is available in September of 1939. And we have our U-boat map for the Type 9A laid out here. We have our U-boat counter here in the import box. We have our torpedoes lined up. The number of torpedoes we have is up here, and the G7A are these steam torpedoes. The G7E are the electric torpedoes. The electric torpedoes run quieter, but I think they're finicky. There's an optional rule, which I guess I'm playing with, that says the electric torpedoes can't start preloaded in the tubes because they require regular maintenance. So we have 22 total torpedoes, 4 forward torpedo tubes, 2 aft torpedo tubes, but not a lot of aft reloads, and you can't move them back and forth. This is what you're stuck with to get back to port. We've got our hull damage and flooding ready to go in case we take any of that. We've got 5 ammo in our deck gun. We have a trained crew, which is where you start, and the starting rank for your commandant is of the Type 9A specifically is Kapitän Leutnant. So we're starting with that. We've also started our log sheet. We have just picked the Type 9A. We have decided that we are U440, which is probably too high a number this year, but I don't care. And the commandant's name is Otto Falkenhayn. So let's get started. We are pretty much going to start with the patrol assignment. Okay, so for our first patrol assignment roll, we are going to roll on the U-boat patrol assignment table. We can see that we rolled 2d6. And because we're in September of 1940, we roll on the 1939 to March 1940 table. And there are special notes here that say Type 9 boats treat Mediterranean and Arctic as West African coast. We do have a Type 9, but there's no Mediterranean or Arctic in this particular column. So let's break out the glass. So we have rolled a 9, and we have a British Isles M. So we were actually on a mine-laying mission. So let's find out what that means. Okay, so how the mine-laying mission works is that we load all forward and aft torpedo tubes with mines instead of torpedoes. And this changes our torpedo load, so we basically were losing, because we're in a Type 9, we're losing 6 torpedoes. And when we go along the track for British Isles, when we get to the mission box, we roll for encounters. If we have an encounter, we resolve that encounter. If not, the mission is successful. I unload these, and I can reload torpedoes. So it's actually relatively straightforward, although you have to read the entire section, not just the mine-laying missions section, to understand it. So we are going to then move. They're on a British. Let me make a note here. They're on a British Isles patrol. Isles M. So we are going to move our sub-counter. We're on our way to the transit box. Okay, so we are going to roll on the encounter chart E1. We roll 2d6 on this chart. And we're going to be running in the transit box, because that's the box that we're entering now. We have rolled an 8, which, as we see here, do we have any modifiers? I think no. No, we do not. So there is no encounter in that transit box. Now, I'm not really clear on whether I roll under Bay of Biscay or transit. Well, even if it was Bay of Biscay, we would still be not getting an event. So in the second transit box, which is also a transit box, we actually have to be here as we move into there. I was on the wrong track. Let's roll again. We have another 9. This is definitely a transit box, so we again have no encounter. So we move into the mission M/A. M is mine laying, and A is you're delivering an Abwehr agent to some foreign soil. So now we will roll on the Bay of Biscay special missions box, and again there's no modifier. So we have gotten a 5 barely. We have barely escaped the encounter. So our mission is successful since we have gotten to the mission box, so we will ditch the mines. I've got a counter tray off camera here to store the counters in. There's not a ton of counters in this game. And we will, this is pretty much our total capacity for torpedoes. So we will load 4 steam torpedoes into the forward torpedo tubes. And we will move to the British Isles box on the track, and we will roll for encounter there. We roll in this column this time. This is much more likely to actually draw an event. We have a 7, which is nothing still. So we have another British Isles roll coming. We have a 10 here. I think this is something. This is a convoy. So we have drawn our first actual encounter. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so to determine the contents of the convoy that we've encountered, there's going to be 4 ships and an escort. And for each of the ships, we need to roll on the ship size chart, which is down here. 1 to 3, it's a small freighter. 4 to 5, it's a large freighter, and 6, it's a tanker. So we only have 3 of these handy, so we'll roll 3. And we have 2 5s and a 1. The 1 will be a small freighter. The 5s will be a large freighter. Let's re-roll the black die for the last ship. Okay, so we have 2 small freighters and 2 large freighters in the convoy, plus an escort. So let's set that up. Okay, so we also need to determine whether it's a day or night attack, and we're going to roll 1d6 for that. On a 5, it is a night attack, which is to my advantage. So let's set up the battle mat. Okay, so we have set up the battle mat here. We have our escort. We have 2 small freighters and 2 large freighters. It doesn't matter exactly what these are. These are just numbered targets. So we will pull torpedoes off of our forward torpedo tubes. We can choose to fire both at the forward and the aft, but we're not going to do that. We're actually going to throw 2 torpedoes here. And 2 torpedoes here, and we may get a second attack, but we may not. You know what? I'm gonna go all out here, and I'm gonna throw 1 torpedo at each of these small freighters, 2 from the aft torpedo tubes. So we need to select a range, and which means I need to put a marker here, and we're gonna go like balls out, super aggressive, and go to close range. So at short range, check for escort detection. So we need to roll 2d6, and on a 10 plus, we are detected. 9.22 for modifiers. Let's see if there's any modifiers real quick. There are modifiers, but they don't apply because I have an advanced captain here. So we'll roll. We have a 4, so we are, I believe, not detected. Is that correct? 10 plus detected. Okay, so we are not detected, so we continue to step 5. We will select a submerged attack or a night surface attack. We will do night surface attack. And we will assign the torpedoes to the ship targets, which we've already done, and we will fire the torpedoes. So in order to do that, we go up here, and we find the torpedo gunfire chart. And we need to roll 2d6 on this. So let's see, roll once for each torpedo or deck gun fired. Second salvo only possible as a night surface attack. Ignore modifiers if Commandant holds a Knight's Cross. And if they hit, we have to check for duds. So let's, we need an 8 or less to hit on the torpedoes. So let's launch target number 1, which is a small freighter. And that is an 8, so we have, in fact, hit. So let's put that there. On the target number 2, we have a 10, so we have missed on that one, and that torpedo is gone. On target number 3, we have 2 torpedoes. The first one hits. The second one also hits. Let's check against target number 4. The first one hits. On the second one, ooh, that is, actually that's not. Boxcars, if you're rolling on the encounter tables, is a special event, but this is not the encounter table, so that's just a miss. So we have 1 hit there, and the other torpedo is history. Now we need to check for duds. That is on the torpedo dud chart. We roll 1d6. And the electric torpedoes are more finicky, so if we roll within that 1 to 2, I think it's a dud. So against target number 1, we have a 3, so it is not a dud. Against target number 3, we have 2 torpedoes. Those are both good. And against target number 4, we have 1. And that is good as well. Okay, so then we go to the attack damage chart. And we roll over here. We roll against the torpedoes. And there are no modifiers that I can tell from here. So let's roll against target number 1, the small freighter. That is a 6, and so it does 1 damage, which is not enough to sink that. So we have damaged that ship, and that torpedo's gone. Against the target number 2, we don't have anything that we just missed, and on target number 3, we have 2 hits. So we have 2, which is 3 damage, and 4, which is 1 damage. So we have 4 damage. So we go 1, 2, 3, and that is dead. And against target number 4, we have 1 torpedo. We have a 5 there, so that's going to take 1 damage as well. So all these torpedoes are gone. We now need to detect, the escorts will need to detect. So we do have a night, so we get a -1. And you know what? There's a modifier to the attack for being at short range, actually. Yeah, I might have hit with one of those. Oh well, we don't. I don't believe in going back and doing it. Okay, so no. None of this is true. Close range, so we do get a +1 to this. Another +1 for night surface attack. So we like literally popped up in the middle of the water in front of these guys, and boom. And forward plus aft. So we get a +3 to this roll. So that's actually quite serious. So let's hope we roll real low. We have, that's a natural 8, so we have an 11. We are detected. So when we are detected, what do we do? Look at the, if U-boat is detected, go to step 10. Roll for hits on E3. So we roll 2d6. The modifiers here are pretty much nothing, as far as I can tell. Night surface attack, actually, so +1. And we didn't roll 12 plus. So we are at a +1 on this table, so we could get sunk right here after having sunk a 5,000 ton small freighter. So let us see what we get. That is an 8 adjusted. So we take 2 hits, and when we take hits, we roll on E4 the boat damage chart, which is down here. So let's do that, and there should be no modifiers for this. Once again, the black is 10s die. So we have a 33, which is a hull damage, so we're going to take a hull damage. And we're going to roll another one. That is a 64, which sounds real bad. The forward torpedo door. Ooh, that's bad. All right, so we now take a damage marker. And we damage, that's not the right damage marker, actually. We damage the forward torpedo door. Did we say 2 hits? We got an 8, so it is 2 hits. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Over hits, determine damage. If U-boat is not sunk, if flooding occurred, roll 1d6 to stop additional flooding. Return to step 8 to check for escort detection. So we're still on the rocks here, and as far as I can tell, we're still at a +3 to this roll. So we're going to roll again. Roll low, we roll low, so we have slipped away after taking some depth charge damage. U440. Now, if we are undetected, let's see. If never detected, go to step 9. So, if all targets have been sunk, the encounter ends. If any targets were damaged, the U-boat may automatically follow, which I will do so. If following determines if targets are still escorted. So we'll pull the cup out again. Roll a 1d4, 1d6. We're looking for a 5 to 6. Nope, they're still escorted. If they're escorted, the damaged ships stay together, return to step 1 above. So we go up there. And we are going to follow, by the way. It is our call whether to follow or not. We are going to follow. So we are going to, because we can always choose not to engage. So if I manage to sink all these, then I'll be pretty happy. So we're going to roll for day and night. Okay, so we are going to roll for day or night. 1 to 3 it's day, and 4 to 6 it's night. And once again, it is night. And I think we're going to probably be a little less aggressive on this one. We're going to reload our torpedoes. We're going to just load up the steam torpedoes back here. Our aft torpedo tubes are empty. So we have here. So we're going to go back here. We've determined the ship size already. We've done that. Now we can choose, if it's during the day, we can choose to switch tonight, but we might lose them. But we don't have to do that. We're going to go to medium range this time. Select submerged attack or night surface attack. Now let's take a quick look at this. We are going to go with a night surface attack, but we're going to be at medium range this time. So we are going to... we don't have to check for escort detection at medium range. We will assign the torpedoes to the target. So we have 4 torpedoes. We are going to drop 2 torpedoes on that guy and 1 each on these. Now we don't have both forward and aft torpedoes going this time either. So we're going to have a significantly less of a chance to be detected doing this. Let's determine how many we hit. So pulling out the hit chart. Let's be careful here. We do get a -1 because it is a night surface torpedo. We get a second salvo torpedo. There's only possible is night surface attack. So that's another. That's a +1 actually. We ignore that modifier if the commandant holds a knight's cross, which is a little odd. But all right. So that's just a straight up roll then, as far as I can tell. So against target number 1. We have a 6, which is, I'm sorry, we have to roll 2 dice for that. So that is an 8, so that is a hit against target number 2. That is a 3, which is a hit. We're in medium range, actually, so this one misses. I should pay attention to that. So we actually need a 7 or less. And on these 2, we have 2 torpedoes here. We have an 8, which is a miss, so that guy's gone. And we have a 7, which is a hit. Now let's determine whether any of these are duds. Against target number 2, that is a 6, so it is not a dud. And against target number 4, that is a 6, so it is not a dud. Let us determine damage. There's no modifiers to this roll, so against target number 2, that is 3, which is 2 damage, which is 1, 2, enough to sink the small freighter. I rolled the wrong size freighter on the other one, so we're going to actually have to erase this and redetermine that. That's okay, we can do it after the encounter. Okay, so damage, this can go away. Damage on target number 4, we need a 3 or less. We've got a 1, so we do 4 damage. So 1, 2, and he is sunk as well. So I think at this point, we are probably going to let the convoy go regardless of what happens. But we need to check for detection now. So we roll on this table once again. And we have, you know what? We have that torpedo door damage. That's a problem, actually. That may have resulted in me not doing this encounter after all. Well, since I'm past it, we're going to assume that I rolled it and that it's fixed. So, live and learn on that. Okay, so we need to check for detection. So we were previously detected, so there's a +1 to the roll. Night surface attacks, there's another +1 to the roll. Nothing else applies. So there's +2 to this roll, which is unfortunate. Below 2. Fantastic. We are undetected, so we managed to slip away again. And we have taken 2 hull damage. Okay, so our first encounter is complete. Okay, so I have rolled to determine off camera the ships that I sunk on these charts here. So having screwed it up the first time. The small freighter that we sunk was the Day Rose. It's 4,100 tons. One of the large freighters was the Port Nicholson, which is 8,400 tons. And we hit the jackpot because the other large freighter that we sunk is the Empress of Britain at 42,300 tons. So that is pretty massive right there. So we need to go back to the encounter table to resolve our next encounter. Let's clean this up. Be nice if that convoy was unescorted. That would be just easy pickings, wouldn't it? Okay, so I didn't put the day or night surface or submerged markers on there. I should have. Okay, so we are entering another British Isles box here, and we are going to roll 2d6 on the British Isles column of the encounter chart. That is a 6, which is a ship plus an escort. So let's pull the escort marker back out somewhere. Escort marker goes here. Let us determine the size of the ship. It is a small freighter. So let's pull our small freighter out here, and that goes here. And let's determine whether it is day or night. 4 to 6, it's night. That's what we want. It is daytime. Okay, so to see the mechanic, let us decline combat during the day, and we will roll 1d6 to switch to night, and on 1 to 4 we will succeed, and we'll switch to night. And we rolled a 1, so they have eluded us. So that encounter is blown. So we will roll for the next British Isles box on the track. Back to the encounter chart, which I keep setting down in a place that is not obvious. So we'll put these away. So 2d6 on the encounter chart for British Isles, number 3. That is a 7, which I think is a no. It is indeed a no encounter. So we will move to the transit box. And we'll roll there. That is an 8, which is no encounter. And I think we go to the Bay of Biscay counter here, box next, which will be there. And we have rolled a 10, which is no encounter. Yeah, no encounter. Okay, so from there we go back to port. And we have to determine how long it takes. We have some in-port things to do. We're going to have to repair and refit. We have taken a little bit of damage. I think we took 1 damage. By cheating, we've fixed the port torpedo, the forward torpedo doors. So let's reload and see what happens in port. Okay, so the way the refit works is it takes a minimum of 1 month. And then for every piece of hull, point of hull damage, for every 3 points of hull damage or fraction thereof, then it takes another month. And then for every, if 3 or more systems are marked inoperable, then you need an additional month. So the maximum duration is, the maximum duration added is 1 month for inoperable systems. So we are in refit for 2 months. So we will mark these here with an R and an R, and we will be ready to sail again in December of 1939. Okay, so our crew is eligible for an advancement check after 3 patrols, which we have not done yet. We have only done the 1. However, our patrol was pretty successful at 54,800 tons of Allied naval power sunk to the bottom of the Atlantic, which is really quite good for 1 patrol. Now, admittedly, I was pretty aggressive. So I will probably be not quite that aggressive next time because there's a lot of penalties there that we were taken to be detected. So we were really asking to take it in the rear on that. But so our first patrol, I think, was highly successful. We will be ready to do our second patrol in December of 1939. We are more than halfway in terms of tonnage that we need to sink to our Knight's Cross, which will give us some actual in-game bonuses as well to represent a veteran commandant of the ship. So U-440 has completed its first patrol. Commandant Captain Lieutenant Otto Falkenhayn has been successful, and he will drink lots of beer in Kiel while they are fixing his ship back up, and his crew is enjoying themselves as well. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I think we're going to do another patrol episode of this. So stay tuned. We've got some other board wargaming stuff coming as well, plus plenty of other content in the channel. So check all that out as well. And also you can check out the website at ardwulfslair.wordpress.com, and you can follow me on social media. There's links to do that in the notes below. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.